Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rock Squad podcast, your destination for the latest in rock music news, reviews, and discussion. I am one of your hosts. My name is Nick Chino. I'm joined by my co-host and bandmate, it's Dave Marini. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Nick, how's it going? Hey, everybody, before we get going today, make sure you drop down to the bottom of this video. You subscribe to our channel, the Rock Squad Pod, so you get all the updates. Hit the bell so you get the notifications. So every week when we have a new episode, you are notified that it is there. You can reach us at the Rock Squad Podcast on Instagram. You can reach me, Red Coast Records, on Facebook, on Instagram. Where can they reach you, Nick? Where's the best way to get in on it?
They can reach me at the Walking Nick on Twitter and Instagram. That's where they can go. And they can give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a review if you're listening to the audio version of this. If you're watching the video version, give us all those likes and subscribes. We would appreciate that. What have you been up to, Dave? You had a little outing today. You went into the aquarium. You saw some fishies.
Brought the kids to the aquarium. Got to see some sharks. Got to see some turtles.
Yeah.
Had a very good day. Everybody behaved themselves. Daddy stayed out of the water.
Nice.
Doesn't get better than that. Everybody's home safe and sound.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a great day. You know what I did today? I bought some tickets. I don't know if you saw that Don Broco, one of our favorite bands, they're doing a live stream coming up on September 1st. It's called Ultrasonic. Nice. And like tickets are cheap. I think they're like $10. You buy it and nice. They're doing you can buy like an after party ticket. You get like a Q&A after the show with the band, and then some of their merch that's coming out before the new album is dropping on this early live stream that they're doing. So I don't know. That's what I did today. I saw that. I'm like, perfect. I'd love to watch that.
That's amazing.
On the live stream.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a fantastic. You know what I would call that? I would call that a great birthday gift. And yes. I'd like to say happy birthday to you and myself.
Yes.
We both celebrate birthdays a few days apart from each other. So that's a way to treat yourself. I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to get my tickets to the Don Broco live stream on September 1st, because what better way than getting older? One more spin around the sun than celebrating it with our good pals in Don Broco.
Yeah, for sure. The last time we saw, that was the last show I went to before COVID ruined everything, was Don Broco at the Hard Luck Bar in Toronto. We went to that show. That was incredible. So I guess that was a good last show to go to before all the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, it was one of the last ones I went to. I think maybe one more snuck in there before everything shut down. Yeah. But memorable ones, that was definitely the last memorable show I was at. So, I hope that these live streams turn into real shows and everything gets going. But we're gonna have to just wait it out. I think that's where we're at right now, is waiting things out.
Yeah, we'll play the waiting game. We'll see what happens with the the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th waves that are coming. The never-ending waves of COVID. People, get your vaccinations, please. Just do it so we can go back to normal. We've been dealing with this crap for long enough. So that's my PSA for this week's episode. But let's get to the topics on this week's Rock Squad podcast. We're going to start off with some opening act topics, which are some new rock stories that are happening in the world of rock music. And you know what, Dave? It turns out we can predict the future, because Charlie Watts will not be playing with the Rolling Stones on their upcoming tour. We speculated wildly on our last episode a couple of weeks ago we were talking about ZZ Top and how they're touring without Dusty Hill, who recently passed away. So we speculated, and it was completely off the top of my head that I did this, that we speculated, could the Stones tour without one of their main members if one of their main members passed away? And thankfully, Charlie Watts is very much still with us. That is the good news. But the bad news is that he had a medical procedure done that is going to preclude him from touring with the band, which is actually his first time that he hasn't played with them since they formed in 1962. The band's friend Steve Jordan is going to fill in for their upcoming U.S. tour. Are we psychic, Dave? Do we just know these things? Is this good news? It's pretty bad news for the Rolling Stones, because they're not touring with their longtime mainstay drummer, one of the original members of the band who's been with them the whole run. But we also could be psychic, so that's a potential as well.
Well, I think we know now that it's definitely a Keith and Mick situation for the no touring. Because we were like, well, if Ronnie couldn't do it, would they do it? And we're like, they probably do it with Ronnie. Well, what about Charlie? Charlie, they probably wouldn't do it without Charlie. He's a longtime member. Well, apparently they will do it without Charlie. They don't give a fuck who wants to see him or not. They're that is a tank rolling down that street, that's for sure. And again though, same with the ZZ Top. These guys are road guys. These guys have lived most of their life on the road. And I know Charlie knows what it takes to put on shows like that. So yeah, there's a lot of livelihoods at stake when you can't perform and you're at that level. So, good on them for keeping it going, because I know there's a lot of people that have been waiting for the payday to come around with them back on the road. So good on the Stones for keeping it going. Good luck to Charlie. Hopefully he gets everything straightened out and he'll be back counting to 4 in no time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see if the tour even happens, because I hate to always bring it back to COVID-19, but it's rearing its ugly head again. So who knows that these tours are still going to go forward, because some bands are canceling their tours, but other ones are keeping them going. And Live Nation is requiring people to present their vaccination records and everything to get into shows and everything. So we'll see if it happens. But it is so weird that the Stones have come this far and then had to replace Charlie Watts for a tour. You'd think that they would have had to do that at some point during the last 50, 60 years, because they've had multiple members come and go throughout the Rolling Stones. So the fact that this is the first time that Charlie Watts has had to duck out of a tour, I think that's a pretty good track record overall.
Like, do you think, has there been any missed shows? Like, there's got to be something.
Maybe. If we dug in a little bit, I'm sure if anybody's a big Rolling Stones fan, they can let us know in the comments. I'm sure we might be missing something there, but pretty solid overall.
Yeah. Like I'm imagining through the years, there's like the week where he got the flu, or like you don't spend 50 years on the road and not, accidentally walk into a glass table or something.
Yeah. Even I've done that on tour.
Yeah, even you've done that, pal.
Yeah, but we're wishing Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones a speedy recovery. We hope he gets well soon and he's able to join the band again, like you're saying, counting in 1, 2, 3, 4 on the shows and playing all the tunes with the Stones. So we wish him well, and hopefully that tour is going to go forward. Let's get to the next opening act topic on this week's Rock Squad podcast, and that is Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit have canceled their summer tour. They did a show a couple weeks ago. They played Lollapalooza in Chicago, but they decided to cancel the rest of the tour. We're talking that some bands are canceling their tours because of COVID, and this really is Limp Bizkit doing something out of an abundance of caution around COVID-19 and the safety of their band and crew. They're saying there was nobody really affected by COVID-19 on their crew or in the band. There might have been a rumor that Wes Borland got COVID-19, but that's not true. They're trying to play it safe. Totally get that. Things are still really up in the air, and the band was going to play a string of dates across the U.S. This month, and now they've canceled. But you know what? It's funny because I watched the Lollapalooza show on YouTube, and I wouldn't call myself a Limp Bizkit fan. I would say back in the day, I like Nookie and Break Stuff and Rollin' just as much as anybody else. Faith as well. But this performance, I was totally into it. I might have been.
Me too.
I might have been under the influence of certain substances at the time. Watching it late at night, watching Limp Bizkit, but I'm like, this is incredible, and they sounded awesome. And Fred Durst was rocking his dad rock wig and everything. Like, this is kind of a Limp Bizkit resurgence as far as I can tell.
I think they've definitely been spending some money on like the right publicists and getting the right coverage for the last little bit. I don't know who, like, if they changed management or like what the deal is, but they went from being like, like a small theater kind of vibe. So now all of a sudden they're like, mainstay at a huge rock festival. I checked out the same performance, and I was like, I had watched the documentary on Woodstock 99 a couple days before, which was also timed out perfectly with the whole dad rock. Like, it just kind of flew into the new era of Limp Bizkit.
Right.
And man, they're killing it. They're having fun, and everybody's jamming, and everybody's having a great time playing old classics. I think they had a new drummer. That was the only thing I noticed. John Otto's not in the band anymore. But I hadn't. Now, this might not be news to anybody. This could have been the last decade he bounced from the band. I'm not really sure. But I'm glad to see that Wes Borland's back in the band. They seem to be like they're having fun like they used to. And they did it all for the Nookie, man. I have faith that Limp Bizkit's going to have a resurgence.
They're going to keep on rolling, right?
That's it, buddy.
It's funny.
Right now they're dangerous.
Yeah. It's funny because, well, not really funny, but I was watching on YouTube the Rollin' video, and I didn't realize they shot that video on top of the World Trade Center.
Oh
like in
yeah,
2001. I'm like, wait a minute, they're on top of the Twin Towers in that video.
that's right. They are. That's how
Yeah,
big they were, man.
yeah, and I think I read somewhere that probably on Wikipedia that they were due to get a certificate or something. They were like they were being congratulated for being one of the only bands to ever shoot something on top of the World Trade Center, and then 9/11 happened, and then obviously that changed everything. But I found that to be a
Wow.
very interesting piece of trivia. But I'm totally into this Limp
Wow.
Bizkit reunion, not reunion, revival. They've been together the whole time, but yeah, and the performance, it was weird because their music obviously is very aggressive. They're a very aggressive new metal band.
Yep.
But Fred Durst's performance was like strangely chill. It was
Yeah.
very relaxed, and he doesn't have to be like, oh no, every time, but he was
Yeah.
just kicking back, and I totally just dug his vibe and what he was
Yeah.
going for. And they were aggressive, but still a little bit reserved at the same time.
Yeah, man. They kind of made they made fun, like they made the chaos kind of chill and fun without losing any of the energy of what's going on. And I think Wes Borland puts on such a show by himself playing guitar that you don't really need that from all the members, and everyone's
Yeah.
having a good time jumping around and stuff. But Fred's definitely matured as a performer, I think, in the last little bit, and being able to just own it and go through, run in verses so smoothly like
Yeah.
he did, like it's 1997 or 98 again, but dressed up like everyone's favorite soccer dad. So
Yeah.
good for them, man. I'm all for. I think that was a band that kind of went into the dark too soon and was grouped in with a lot of shit music that came out of that era. And no, anyone our age, anyone in their let's say mid 30s, that was around when that first record came out, Faith came out. Everyone liked Limp Bizkit when they
Yeah.
first came out, man. It was something different. It was part of the new metal movement. And I think between like them and the Deftones and well, fuck, there's a few bands on there that definitely
Korn.
deserve Korn. They still deserve their due. You know what I mean? Like Korn's not going anywhere. Like those kind of bands. There's a ton. Incubus, another band that like
Yeah.
came
Got
out of
lumped
that
in.
realm. Yeah, got lumped into that realm, but then kind of
Linkin
made
Park.
something. Yeah, Linkin Park too, another one, right? But all of those bands, for whatever reason, they seem to really hit their peak after the Woodstock '99 fiasco. So Limp Bizkit was kind of like at the forefront, and then kind of got pushed to the side, like okay, thanks, and I don't necessarily think that's fair, but they seem to be back. They seem to be writing music again and stuff. So let's have a fucking wicked single come out from these guys
Yeah.
and make everyone remember, like, oh, these guys are really groovy and funky, and
Yeah.
they're one of a kind, and let's get behind them again. Or they could put out a shit song, and it's like none of this even happened.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to hear something new and
Yeah,
badass for Limp Bizkit. And the crowd at
yeah,
Lola, like they just looked like they were loving everything the band was doing. I think that would have been a fun crowd to be in.
totally, man, totally, 100%.
For sure. So yeah, the return of Limp Bizkit. They've canceled their tour, but they've made a little bit of a resurgence, a little bit of revival. I'm sure there's many diehard Limp Bizkit fans out there who would say they've never gone anywhere, and that's true, because if you're a fan of the band, they've never gone anywhere. But for some of us who kind of dropped off for them, it was cool to see that performance at Lollapalooza, and hopefully they can reschedule that tour. But let's get to the last opening act topic on this week's Rock Squad podcast, and that is Tom Morello has announced a new album. The Rage Against the Machine, Audio Slave, and Prophets of Rage Guitarist is a new album on the way. It's called The Atlas Underground Fire. This one is the follow-up to 2018's The Atlas Underground. It's going to feature guest spots from Bruce Springsteen, Eddie Vedder, Bring Me the Horizon, Mike Posner, Damian Marley, and more. It's going to hit stores and streaming on October the 15th. And I really did. I think I did a review on the channel a couple years ago when we were kind of starting things up the first time. I did a review for the Atlas Underground on this channel. I can't say I've dug that much into Tom Morello's solo material, but obviously he's an incredible musician. He's played with some of the best bands ever, and he's an incredible guitarist. So I'm really excited to hear this record, and he knows how to play to his strengths, right? He's a guitar player primarily. I know he's done singing on his own and everything like that, but he brings in other people to come and help facilitate this record. And that's why you have these heavy hitters like Bruce Springsteen, Eddie Vedder, Bring Me the Horizon, Damian Marley. These are huge names that he's bringing in to help flesh out this record. Are you excited for this one, Dave?
Yeah, man. Tom Morello's awesome. Let's just face it.
Yeah,
he just did a great song with the Pretty Reckless too.
Yeah.
where like, and that just
So it
came out a
went.
couple months ago or like New Year. Yeah, the guy's a machine, man. Like, you know what I'm actually really I want them to make a documentary about his friendship with Adam Jones from Tool.
Yeah.
Because like there's such a crazy story about how they were in a band together in high school, and then both of them go on to be in arguably the two most influential hard rock bands of the 90s with
Right.
Tool and Rage Against the Machine. Like it's such a weird story that both of them got to that level
Yeah.
in the time frame that they got, starting out in Tom's basement. It's just that story needs to be told like in detail and not just passively on like interviews with Rolling Stone and stuff. But yeah, man, Tom
Yeah.
Morello's some of his solo stuff, he likes to cater to the person that's doing the collab with him. So if he's doing something with Skrillex, he might do a more EDM based kind of vibe, or he might do. But when it's a rocker, man, just like the song they did with the Pretty Reckless, he fucking brings it every time.
Yeah.
He's amazing. His song choice is probably going to be equally as well thought out and prepared. So yeah, I'm super excited. I think Tom Morello is one of those guys we have that we need to cherish, and as Kevin Hart would say, give him the flowers he deserves.
Give the flower. He's just, well, of course. And the fact that he's still kept strong with his other projects as well, with Rage, Prophets of Rage, and the reunited Rage Against the Machine, which is another tour that got cut short because of COVID, which is another pain in the ass, because I think you had Rage tickets, didn't you? They were coming to,
man.
they were coming to Cops. So they're not Cops, First Ontario Center here in Hamilton, right?
Yeah. I think it's rescheduled. I think I have tickets. I don't know.
Yeah.
Run the Jewels is opening, so that's
Right.
that's also exciting. I like Run the Jewels too.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
going to be
for sure.
amazing. That's a great opening act for Rage Against the Machine. Both very political minded bands, and I love Run the Jewels as well. And I'm excited for this record. I don't dig that much into Tom Morello's solo stuff. I know he does the Night Watchman as well. And I haven't listened to a ton of Prophets of Rage, but I have digested my fair share of Audioslave and Rage Against the Machine, and some of his solo stuff. So I'm looking forward to this. It should be good. And it comes out on October the 15th. So
sweet.
Looking forward to new Tom Morello. Those are our 3 opening act topics for this week's Rock Squad podcast. Let's get to our headliner topic, the big topic on this week's show, and that is that the Foo Fighters have trolled Westboro Baptist Church. The band was playing a concert in Kansas City a couple of weeks back, and were met by protesters from the insane church group who always makes their presence known at these kind of things. These guys are no strangers to protesting at Foo Fighters shows. So the Foo Fighters decided to troll the trolls, and they hopped on a flatbed truck, rolled out by the protesters on the road, and played You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees from their new DG's Hail Satin EP as a show of their love. And despite the Westboro hate, the Foo Fighters told them that they loved them. And, I personally love it when rock bands troll religious assholes. That's one of my favorite things in the entire world. And it's funny, if you see the footage, there's different footage of this thing happening, but if you watch it online, there's a woman with a picket sign. So she's obviously part of this Westboro Baptist Church group, and the Foo Fighters are pulling up playing, the Bee Gees, and she's like moving her leg. She's like grooving on it. It's like, you're supposed to be protesting, woman. What are you doing? She's enjoying it while she's like, you can't be tapping your leg and enjoying the funk and the disco while, you're protesting the Foo Fighters every time they come to Kansas City. That it doesn't work like that.
White people in guitar, bud. Haven't you ever seen the John Mayer on Chappelle's show? You start playing electric guitar, white people start dancing. Doesn't matter what it's for.
Yeah.
Fuck those people, man. Good for the Foo Fighters. I have no time for any hate or any of that shit when it comes to people in this world. So if you're going to be that ignorant and protest dead soldiers and protest dead gay rights people and stuff, get the fuck out. We don't have time for that shit, man. That's not the world we live in.
Nobody got time for that.
Nobody has time for that shit, man. And good for the Foo Fighters. Like, I know they've had their back and forth through the years with them. Yeah. And people have shown up at their shows and all that stuff. And I'm just like you, man. If someone's that ignorant and arrogant, and someone I respect musically or on whatever level wants to put them in their place, I 100% support it. These people need to get a life, get a grip on the world they live in. We are here to push love and acceptance And that kind of attitude towards anything in the world is disgusting, and we do not stand behind it.
No, it's not rock and roll as far as we're concerned. That is the opposite of rock and roll. Is the shit they try to pull. Well, it's funny because we were saying the Foo Fighters have dealt with them before, but really, if you are a crazy religious cult or whatever, and you protest shit, why wouldn't you protest something that's way more offensive than Foo Fighters? Really? You know, Foo Fighters, especially now, they're just a bunch of dads in a band. Really? They play rock and roll music. They just released a disco record. You know,
a Bee Gees cover album.
Like if Cannibal Corpse or something comes to town, or
sure,
I think a band like Godfuckers coming to town or something. Then
Dying Fetus. If Dying Fetus
is
coming to town, then by all means, gotta make a sign.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
sure, go
the
for
fucking
it.
Foo Fighters get a life.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters have never come after Christianity. I don't know what the whole deal is.
No, come on, songs about girls. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, they're the least offensive band of all time. And I found that was really funny. And I don't know if anybody really realized that it was them. Do you think like the Westboro Baptist Church, when the Foo Fighters are driving by on this flatbed truck, did they realize it's actually the Foo Fighters trolling them?
I think there's probably a few people in the group that knew what happened last time.
Yeah.
And they were probably like, if we do this right, they may come and play for us.
Yeah.
So
it's just a way to
hold us on. Like,
so that's how you get a private concert from the Foo Fighters. Is you just protest their show, and then they're going to come and
bigoted ignorance will get you Foo Fighters on the back of a flatbed doing a drive-by concert.
The rest of us have to go to the show and sit in the seats and watch them from the nosebleeds like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, you know what? Good on the Foo Fighters for trolling the Westboro Baptist Church, and hopefully they will continue to troll them, because you got to troll the trolls,
Yeah, you got to troll the trolls. And we hail Satan here at the Rock Squad.
Yeah, Satan. Yeah, for sure. Our dark overlord. All right, that is our headliner topic from this week's Rock Squad podcast. And that's it for the topics this week. But before we go, we have to give you our tracks of the week. Dave, we were talking earlier about the new record from Mags, which is really cool. The great record. We talked about, there's a couple songs on the last time we talked about it, but there's a first song on this record called Smile, which has been in my head all day. Watching that live stream, or not a live stream, but that little show that he did on YouTube. Incredible. This guy does everything. He's awesome.
Yeah, Mags out of Buffalo, I believe. I think he's out of Buffalo, living in Los Angeles right now. Mags is one of those bands that's definitely been on the festival scene for a while. He's been in a bunch of bands through the years. I forget the bands, but like there's been a bunch that he's been part of. Now he's doing his own thing. We're definitely fans of this Mags guy. Elliot Maggs, I believe is the name.
Yeah.
And he's awesome, man. So what's the song? What was the song? Smile?
The song's called Smile. Yeah. And it's from the new record, which is called Say Things That Matter, which I think came out just last Friday. But this whole thing's really good. Smile's good. Wait is awesome. Choked Out, Golden. Sunrise is really good. That's on Drugs that he does at the beginning, which is on this album, but he did it on that show. Fantastic. He's right up our alley. We love well-crafted pop rock music, and this is just well done. He's incredible. I think he plays everything himself. It's nuts.
Yeah, man. Like we were talking about the production of it too, and he's an at-home production guy. Like he's making things in his basement, in his bedroom. So like, the production on some of these things, like there's a live show that we were kind of that I sent you and we were talking about, and the beginning of it sounds like the Beach Boys.
Yeah,
like it's like a Beach Boys song. And it's all just like layered harmonies. And like and then he goes into, some more kind of, I would like to call it like garage pop.
Totally.
Like it's not necessarily, it's not slick pop. It's not like top 40 pop, but it's like, and it kind of like, it fits his vibe too. He's obviously into skateboarding and stuff. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Sorry. He's obviously into skateboarding and stuff like that. So I think he's just encompassed his whole brand very well, and having that pop element with like I said, like kind of garage pop, garage pop rock kind of vibes. Really cool, man. I feel like it's a more arty version of like the Strokes or something.
It's
Like
one of the live performances I watched on his YouTube. He did Hard to Explain by the Strokes,
I've seen it.
and it was
I've seen
great.
It was super cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of the vibe, but like a little bit more soulful.
Yeah.
Like not so New York, I'll cut you. A little bit more like West Coasty.
Yeah, West Coast. Yeah,
you're like
sunshiny
Beach
pop.
Boys influence, or like
Yeah.
Beach House, or all those crazy surfy bands.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's my track of the week or band of the week. I don't know if that's yours or if you have another suggestion for us.
I've actually been I've been all over Queens of the Stone Age.
Nice.
The last little bit, I've been on my birthday. I threw on some live concerts and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with Queens of the Stone Age, the album Rated R, the song The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret.
Whatever you do. Yep. Totally. Great song.
Great, man. It's a great album.
Oh yeah. In the Fade on that record is great as well. And obviously Feel Good hit of the summer. Great record.
Get out of here. Rated R all the way.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Those are our tracks of the week. And that is it for our Rock Squad podcast. We want to thank everybody for watching. You can follow me at The Walking Nick online. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Rock Squad Pod. The video version of the podcast is here on YouTube. The audio version, wherever you get your podcast, make sure to give us a rating. We would appreciate that, and a review on Apple Podcasts. Where can the folks follow you, Dave?
Red Coast Records on Instagram, Red Coast Records on Facebook. You can also follow our band, foolsunion.com. We'll give you all the links you need to listen to the lovely music that myself and Mr. Nick Chino make together. You can go buy t-shirts. You can go stream stuff. You can watch videos. Whatever you need, we have it covered there. What a great podcast, man. It was so great. Happy birthday once again.
Happy birthday to you as well. We'll see everybody for the next Rock Squad podcast. In the meantime, rock on, Dave.
Rock on, Nick.
See you guys.
Bye.